And the survey says what's up, guys? Anybody at home? Testing 1, 2, 3. And the survey says what's up, Wild Bill? They're rolling in now. Kevin, howdy, folks. Hello, hello. Just enough RC. Let me give you a wrench, my friend. Sub to the channel, RC. If you're not subbed, you look new around here. Welcome. I've seen you in other shows, I believe. Thought we'd go live a little while. Talk about Mother Nature. What's up, Victor? Victor's in the house. Glad y'all made it on a Sunday night. I don't know how long we're going to be here, but we'll be here to the end. I don't have much of a topic tonight, so wherever y'all want to discuss in the chat, we'll just talk about that. What's up, Shadow Ops? Glad you made it, buddy. Hi and bye. On a walk with the kids and dogs. I've been subbed. I appreciate it. Well, you're a moderator now. Glad y'all made it. I don't know how the turnout's going to be tonight. Been a bad week for me. Been a lot of stuff happening. My oldest two kids, they've lost their mom this past week, and my heart goes out to them. My first wife, she passed away on the 15th, and I didn't know it till yesterday. So it's been one of those roller coaster weeks. 200 driver, Jeff from Lower Alabama's in the house. I've got a brother up in Kentucky. He's not doing very well. It's been one of those kind of weeks, guys. Sickness and death. I didn't prepare a show tonight. Don't have much topics. Y'all can bring up topics in the chat. We'll talk about it. I'm gonna give y'all a place to hang out tonight for a little while. Does the audio sound okay? It was off last week. I don't know why. Probably run out of memory. I hope it sounds all right. It It was kind of muffled last week. I don't know why. Probably hadn't used it in a while. Had to shake off the cobwebs out of it. Where's Pilot Ryan and Dave Marshall flying at in Alabama, Jeff? They down there this week flying an event or something? I seen them post on, I think it was Instagram today. Flying a Viper, I believe. Air Marshal said he's looking for a hot dog. I don't know what that meant. Kind of funny. Kind of funny. Now, from Air Marshal, that don't surprise me a bit. Well, Air Marshal was with them in the Instagram today. So Air Marshal went with them where they're at. Flying a T-28. Up north to fly. Birmingham. I sold a 1936 Ford pickup truck I had to a guy in Huntsville, Alabama. That's right across state line. I've done some wheeling and dealing. I went and got it loaded on a trailer and brought it home. I bought the cab, the frame, the fenders. Didn't have the radiator shell. I had everything else to the truck. Had a tailgate, had the bed, the 1936 Ford, and I was strapped for cash, but I wanted a project, so I put it in the basement, and I started on the body work, and a friend of mine built, his name was Jimmy Williams. He's one wound up with that truck. I blowed the motor in my 63 Chevy. I had a 327 in it, Muncie 4-speed, and it would use 2 quarts of oil from, I don't know, 13 miles north of Nashville. And I'd drive into Nashville, had to put 2 quarts in it because it blowed that much. I had a hole burnt in the piston. And I put non-fouling tips on the spark plugs to keep it from burning and fouling so many plugs. And you're not supposed to run maybe 1 or 2 non-fouling tips on your spark plug. I was running 8 in that 327. It was pumping out oil fast as I could put in it. And I was dire need for a small block Chevrolet. Didn't have one to rebuild or anything. So me and Jimmy hooked up, and he wanted my truck. I got $1,700 cash and a freshly built 350 4-bolt main, bored 40 over. Jimmy Williams was a machinist. He built NASCAR engines years back, and he was retired, and he had a machine shop at home, and all he did was drive a school bus down in Huntsville. So I don't have any pictures loaded on the computer of that old truck. Maybe one day I'll put them on here for y'all. Now, I didn't have no, the Chevrolet motor went into my 63 Chevy, Wild Bill. It was just a Ford body and frame. I just did the body work on it. I had it all glazed and primer. When he come to Nashville about once or twice a month for business, and one weekend he come up with a trailer and come down to my house, and we loaded it up for him, and he left me a freshly built 40 over 4-bolt main 350, and I dropped that in my 63 Chevy truck. So I sold the Ford, got me a motor plus cash. So that was the deal on it. And I wonder whatever happened to my truck. I don't, it was a good looking body style, especially if they're chopped. But at the time back, I don't know, this was back somewhere between 87 and 89, I would say, because I didn't move till somewhere around 1990 out of the county. So it was a while back. My middle son, he was just a baby in a baby bed when I had this truck. Bill got a new plane, an Eagle 580 Matt Chapman. I bet that's nice. That sounds like a balsa plane, Wild Bill. I don't know what that plane looks like. I'll be honest with you, 580. It's probably a little bit bigger and better than a 540. Shaped like a 540. Edge. Let's see if I can look that up right quick. Yeah, it kind of looks like that's a nice looking plane. The Cathlon, red version. They're nice planes, 200 driver. I thought about buying one of those, but I just didn't ever pull the trigger. Yeah, that's a super nice plane, 580. I've got a 540 Edge I built out of foam board, and I got a 300 extra E-Flight. Those are my aerobatic planes. That's the only two I've got. I really like where they fly. Made a F-16 today. Well, Bill, has that got a nitro motor in it, or is it electric? Oh, I see now. It's got a Nitro 55 OS. Sweet. You gonna put smoke on it, or runs a smoke trail out the back, or burn it through the exhaust? You gotta have smoke on it. I love it. The smoke trails, doing them corkscrews. Got to love that. My 300 extra, the wings are, I think, right in the middle of that plane, and it flies inverted just as well as it does upright. And the shape of the wings are the same on the bottom as on the top. So you get both of both worlds with it. It really flies like a dream. High tech, door 9, radio and receiver. You buy it used, why, Bill? I don't ever run across deals like that. Usually they want way too much money for them. They want top dollar out of Facebook Marketplace for them. Yeah, I love the way the 300 flies. My cousin give it to me. Well, you can't beat that. You'll be flying it in no time. You needed a room. My room's full of planes right now. I've got 2 PVC racks in there, and they're plumb full. I got big planes laying on the bed, probably 5 or 6 planes laying on the bed, and they're huge. I've got a F8 F Bearcat in there, and I've got a 182 Cessna, FMS in there. I got several planes in there on the bed. I don't have a place to put them up. I can hang them on the wall, but I just don't. They're laying on a queen size bed in there. I put them to sleep. I don't like keeping my planes. I've got a Dutch barn outside, but it's not heated or air conditioned. And if I leave them out there in the summer months, it just destroys. The heat just wears my planes out. So I got all my planes in the house. They're all in 2 bedrooms right now. A chipmunk, a giant GB. Yeah, I'd have to say that was a good price for that plane. No doubt. It was, I don't know, nitro was what, $39 a gallon a year or so ago? I'm not sure. It was pretty expensive. I ain't even looked up. I don't fly any gas planes. I'm not sure how much it costs nowadays. Need to buy batteries, receiver, maybe the radio also. I haven't flown so long, I about forgot how. Last thing I'd done was flew on real flight 9.5 few times this winter. I get bored with that real quick. It's not like really flying. I make one or two laps with it, do some barrel rolls and corkscrews, throw the smoke on and ride around a little bit. I'm burnt out. I'm ready to move on to something else. I think it's $49 a gallon now. That is expensive. They do sound good in the air though. You can't hardly beat a gas motor in a plane. They just sound great. I've got the Turbo Timber UMX. Yeah, I love it. And I got a UMX MiG 15. I want to get that UMX little pit, little 2S, 3S biplane they got out, but I don't want to pre-order it. I believe that little Turbo Timber is probably one of the best flying little models you could ever ask for. I have no complaints flying it at all. You got 5 or 6 minutes of enjoyment when you buy that plane and put it up. I mean, I get out here and night fly it. I've got some videos up of me night flying it out here in the front yard. I got 2.5 acres out here in the front yard, and I still run out of room with it. I'm flying over my neighbor's properties with it. I get into the guide wires out here with it, not judging distance. RC this. What's going on? I'm waiting for spring too. I think it's, did I say it was the other day? We only got about another month, and it's the first day of spring will be here. It's about the 20th of March or 23rd of March, something like that. It'll be spring. Only thing I don't like about the UMX MiG 15, it sounds like an angry bumblebee. It's ear piercing, but it flies good. Burn it up about a week on 3S batteries. I was flying little 2S batteries in mine. Little blue batteries. They wouldn't. They're an off brand I bought from, I don't know, Banggood years ago. And I bought 6 of them, I believe. And it's the same battery I fly in my XJX 520 VTOL jet. The same batteries I use in it. I bought 6 of those, I believe. They all was good batteries. They come from Banggood. It took me forever to get them damn batteries. I can imagine it sounds worse on 3S. I can imagine. 2S was bad enough. It's a hyper sound. Oh Lord. I think the RPMs on that little motor is 45,000 RPMs on it. It's angry. It's angry. Does anybody talk to Kenny? Wish he'd come back on. Hope he's watching tonight. Kenny, come back home. Fred's been doing live streams, try to take up some slack. Kenny's slacking. I'm proud of Fred stepping up. We want Kenny. There we go. I want Kenny too. He makes a good bartender on Thursday night. He just all happy and jolly, pouring drinks. He's my RC bartender. Jeff, is he gonna come back on this week? Maybe he's getting a whole lot done with that building while he's not so busy on live streams. Maybe he's got a lot of work done to it. I talked to my youngest son today. He's gonna come by one day this spring and help me. No, it's killer custard. What I'm vaping on. So vanilla custard. I don't do hookah. I do have nicotine in it though. Wish I had some hookah. He's gonna come over and help me when it gets a little warmer. He's gonna help me put that starter on my truck. I use a water pipe. I heard that. Bong man. You got some pretty plants down there. What's up, Don? Glad you showed up, buddy. That stuff's illegal around here, Wild Bill. We can't be talking about it much around Tennessee. No, I live in a Bible Belt. That's what they call it. I know I kept messing with Ricky, and he ended up blocking me on Facebook. Who blocked you, Victor? I hardly get on Facebook. My near got to beat the tar out of me for me to go over there and look at it. The Instagram's is just as bad. They're kicking people off because they're getting too popular over there and they got 1 million subscribers. And they just close their account for no reason. So Facebook owns Instagram. Captain Pluton, he shouldn't be blocking people. I talk to him on Instagram. He sends me his little funny things And he DMs me on Instagram quite a bit. Ricky does. Baby Kate Nelson. Ricky's my buddy. He's my wingman. I don't know where my GB's at. He's not getting on Sunday nights. This makes the third week I went live and I ain't seen no GB. I might have to chew his butt out. He said to sell all his planes, I bet, so he can make a bedroom for that baby. Kenny, I just heard that somebody on Facebook was ragging Kenny and he got mad over it. That's all I know. I don't know who it was. That's how it come to me. Was somebody was ragging on Kenny on Facebook. I don't know what happened. I don't know who's involved. I can't say. I just know what I was told, and I guess that's to be the truth. GB is starting a family. Victor, when you gonna have a baby? You got that pretty little wife at home. Doing great things, Don. I guess GB's a busy man. He's having to sell all them planes and get them all out of that room and make a nursery rhyme in there. That's what he's gonna do. That's so funny. Ha ha, I'm 57, Grandpa Daddy. There you go. I think I don't know. I think I was 34 when my last one was born. I couldn't imagine having one now. Oh, Lord. I talked to my baby son today, and his little one was screaming at the top of her lungs. We named her Sissy, and he said, I got a naked baby running through the house, and she is screaming. It was Sissy. I figured it was the boy. She's 2 years old, and the boy's 4. Sissy was raising Cain today, running through the house. And she won't keep her diaper on. That's going to be a problem later on in life. That's funny. I don't miss them kids screaming at all. I heard enough of that on the phone today talking to Matt. That's funny. GB is in for a rude awakening. His life would never be the same until they get 18 and move out. My oldest one, Vic, she's 45, and her brother is 43. They just lost their mom this week. My first wife passed away on the 15th, and I wasn't aware of it till yesterday. My baby, I think he's 32. The baby is. I started having youngins in 77. The ones I know of. That's some funny too. The ones I know of. The oldest one was born 77, 79. Yeah, me and my ex, we really didn't get along, but it is my kid's mother. So I'm compassionate about that because they're going to go through heartaches this week and tomorrow. I think they're going to bury her tomorrow. So my heart feels for them. It's just been a tragic week, guys. I got a brother bad off sick up in Kentucky. He's not doing very well. He's 68 years old. And you just don't know how much time we got on Earth. I'll be honest with you. We just never know. I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is check my phone and see if I got messages. And I got one this morning from my niece up there. She's begging me to come. And I can't do it because there's COVID in the house up there. And I'm not going to risk getting COVID. It's just one of those kind of weeks. I've been quarantined for a long time. To jeopardize that now, I just like playing Russian roulette, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not really ready to deal with that. So I'm not going to deal with it. Should buy a home, then have a baby. Victor. I own this home, but I really don't own it. The bank owns it. I still got probably about 11 years left on it, on the mortgage. So you really never own it till you make that last payment. They had this thing set up on 20 years, and I got like 11 left on it. I'll be an old fart them days. So I'm already old. Lord knows if I have get it paid off or not. But I've got a good home and a reasonable payment on it, so I'm okay in that sense. But paying my property taxes is a burden for me on Social Security. It's a big burden. Just is. And I can't get any assistance on it right now. I know what I got to do to get assistance, but it ain't going to happen anytime soon. This house was brand new in 2010, Wild Bill. We bought it in 2011. and I really didn't get the deed to 2013 on it. So 23 will be 10 years, and I get 10 more years after that. So still got a ways to go, but time's flying for me. A day seems like 15 minutes to me anymore. Day's gone. Nighttime's gone. Next day seems like 15 minutes and it's gone. Back when I was a kid, it seemed like a day lasts forever when you're little. Time starts moving pretty quick when you hit 40, 45. And it's only downhill after that. That's a good deal, Wild Bill. Oh, they had me set up on a mortgage 10 years and a balloon note at the end. I said, what? He said, we'll just re-sign it. So there's more paperwork coming. More paperwork. Like buying the bank. I think I got this place at 6% interest. I could have got it cheaper. Could have got it down between 3 and 4. But I said, that ain't enough to mess with. These new cars and new trucks financed for 7 years at 9% interest. I shake my head at that. $50,000, $80,000 trucks. I shake my head. Ain't no way, Jose. I'll just continue driving my 01 and my 1999 model. Just, I ain't financing no truck or no car. I've got a 2014 Kia on the books right now, Forte EX. I bought in 2016. It'll soon be paid for. But my ex wound up with it. Although it's still in my name. She makes the payments on it. She keeps the insurance on it. So she just building my credit up. Victor, land, they're not making no more of it. So I'd say buy as soon as you can. I don't know how expensive it is in California, but I know it's cheaper in other states. Anytime you can buy a house and land, I'd say go for it. Because eventually you'll have some extra gross invested in it. You make some money. They use the first 2 years our monthly payments as our down payment. And after that period, they give me the deed of the property. Then we deal with a 10-year mortgage after that. So actually, I've had the house since 2011, but my mortgage didn't start till 2013. So they ain't never gonna find a cure for old. It'll sneak up on you too. And you realize your youth is gone. Well, one day I was able to do that. Now you're not. That's the way that goes. That's the way it goes. Victor, I wish you luck on buying that house and having that baby. I'll leave all them having babies to the younger folks. I'm done buying them diapers. I'm done. Now you might just enough RC one day you can be able to afford a house. Find you a place to rent to own type deal. That's how I got in this place. Rent on. I didn't have to pay no down payment. First 2 years, the payments went to the down payment. So that's a good way to maybe buy one. Make sure you got a good home though. Make sure it's well insulated. There's my Pamela. She showed up. You're young at heart. Been a bad week, Pamela. Trying to get through it. I was going to text you earlier, but I ain't got around to it. She's my Minnesota. She lives up in an ice box. I don't see how she stands it. It'll get better, Pam. Thing about landlords, just enough. They can raise your rent when you least expect it. Or if you rent a duplex, sometimes they let trailer trash move in next to you. And you got to deal with that plus high rent. There's a lot involved in renting places. An apartment complex, you never know who's coming and going. I got broken into at one apartment back in, I don't know, 77, 78. They went in and stole everything I owned. They took a crowbar and chiseled out the wood and got it in behind the deadbolt lock and popped it and went in and stole all my guns, silver dollar coins my grandfather gave me, my high school class rings. They stole everything had any value. Stole it. Had a 22 Ruger pistol in between my mattress. They found it. And they put all my stuff on the bed and they just got the sheet and packed it out like Santa Claus. They used the pillowcases too to pack my stuff out. So Santa Claus come in July one time but he didn't deliver. He was removing. Ain't that some shit? I had to go buy an alarm clock to get up the next morning to get up to go to work. Oh, I was pissed. Stole every gun I had in the house. I called my mom. I said, bring me my shotgun down here. I said, they've got me good. I ain't even got a gun here. My mama brought me a shotgun down there with a box of shells. They got me through. Lord have mercy if I'd been there and they broke in like that on me. Oh, they knew I was gone for a couple of hours and come back, and the door was cracked open. I said, what the hell? I eased in, not even knowing if they was in there or not. And I searched my apartment without a gun on me. I had a pocket knife, that was it. And if they was in there, they'd probably shot me with my own gun. But thank God they wasn't in the apartment when I got there. I called the Nashville police out. They dusted for prints. They only found our prints in the house. They even stole a record player with a record on it and left me the jacket of the album. That was cold. That's why I never did like apartment living. You never know who's coming and going. And I asked around and nobody seen nothing. They broke in around 6 o'clock that evening. It was still light outside. So you just never know. Fred Barron's in the house. Hello, Fred. Thanks for those live streams this past week. Yeah, they pawned everything, even a hairdryer. They stole everything. Alarm clocks, just anything that had value, they took it. Everything I'd worked for the first year I was married, they took it. And come to find out, guess who done it? My wife's brother. That's even a kicker. And I wasn't told that because the person that told me, he knew I'd kill him. I probably would have. So if he's listening, I got your number. He had a bunch of gambling debts. He's played pool for a living. Yeah, he howled all night long shooting pool and gambling, sleep all day. He racked up debt in these bars. He had to come up with cash, pay it. Him and a buddy broke in my apartment. He done wrote, I don't know, 100 damn checks out on his sister. He stole a box of checkbooks, wrote all kinds of bad checks all over town. His dad was a truck driver, and come to my house to beat his ass. And I told him, I said, you need to leave. I met him on the porch. I said, you need to leave. And I got him between them, and he did have to go home and face him, but he wasn't going to do it at my house, which he probably had it deserved. His own man covered all them checks he had written on his sister. So You never know what life will deal you. But it's all good. Fred, you going live this week? I got on there the other night, and there were 2 or 3 people that's still in there, but I said something in the chat, but I never did hear a reply, so I kind of figured people were asleep. Oh, me. That's a good deal, Fred. I don't know if Kenny will go live ever again or not. I hope he does. I sure miss him. I was in the same apartment, Roach. I lived there. I owned 4 cars, and they broke in a couple of my cars one afternoon and tried to get the battery out of it, and they didn't have enough tools. They wound up cutting the battery cables on my car. I found the hood popped up on one because they knocked on my door to ask for help, or somebody was leaving and they asked them for help. And they come and got me, and I had some jumper cables, but I wasn't sure which car this was in. I had a 75 Camaro, I had a 70 Plymouth Duster, I had a 63 Impala, and I wasn't sure where my battery cable was. They were in one of them cars, and I just come in that Plymouth Duster from Nashville, and when I walked by it, I noticed the hood popped up about like that. So I popped the hood up and started looking in there, and I found my battery cable cut on that battery. They tried to steal my battery before they asked for help. Well, this was a 70 Plymouth. It had 344 speed in it. It was 3 of the guys in a Rambler wagon, and they denied doing it. So I took the driver of the vehicle, and I started whooping his ass in front of his buddies. And I slinged him around like a rag doll out there. My wife at the time, she come out on the balcony, said, "Randy, stop, you're going to kill him." And I had that intention. I had a temper back then, and I was going to beat his ass. I was going to get my battery cables one way or the other out of his ass. I wound up putting him in the hospital for nearly a week. I broke some ribs on him, and his 2 buddies just stood there and watched me whoop the shit out of this guy. And they didn't want to have no part of me. I was like a live wire, like a rooster. And I knew the guy from high school, but I really didn't know him. I know his older brother. And they come over there and said, "You don't go around whooping somebody's ass." I said, "Well, they don't break in my cars." He said, "You see them do it?" And I said, "I'm pretty sure they damn well did it." And I said, they left. And the guy checked in the hospital that night. And I popped the hood on that Rambler, and I took the spark plugs and switched them around on that six cylinder. So if they did try to get it started, it was going to pop through the carburetor and pop through the exhaust. Timing be off. So I knew the car wasn't going to go nowhere. And I went down there and met them. Every day they try to get it started. I said, you better bring me some damn cables. And finally they brought me 2 brand new board warner cables and sewed them up on my patio. And I told them, I rewired their car. I put the plug wires back on there. I said, don't ever let me kick you back over here again. I said, if I ever kick you around me again, I said, you got another ass whooping. And about a year later, I went into a game room in my Rivergate Mall. And I just walked in, went back there, play I don't know, like a pinball machine. Well, this dude I whooped, him and a girlfriend come down and about 2 tables away from me. They put the balls on the table and broke them. He looked up and seen me. You'd never seen a boy grab them balls off that table and go up there and pay for a pool and hit that door. It was so funny. He was flying out that door. He didn't want no more of me. No more. That's funny shit going on back in them days. I was one of them little whippersnappers. I was a bouncer in a bar down in Madison. Fighting was my middle name. That was one of them things. My dad taught me he rather watched me and my brother fight than eat. He'd buy us boxing gloves. If we had an argument, he wouldn't come out and watch us fight. My dad. Until we made up, he'd make us fight right there in front of him. Sometimes it'd fly off the handle. It was all good. Tried carp smoked. Carp's never good, Fred. I've never ate a good carp. Never, ever. Fred, these people I growed up down here in the South, if you done somebody wrong, you'd wind up laying out, knocked out between cars and trucks in a parking lot. There ain't no questions asked. They just leave you knocked out in between car doors in a parking lot. That's the way it was here in the South. I had to grab a hold of a guy in a bar one night was closing. Two guys were picking on him in the back, and I thought, well, shit's fixing to hit the fan. And this was a type bar that they'd shoot holes through the back door and put holes in the refrigerator. That's the kind of bar I was hanging out in. We had a sawed-off shotgun behind the bar, and I helped the owner run it. I opened up sometimes for him because he had a day job, and if he couldn't make it in to open at 2 in the evening, well, I'd run in and open the bar for him till he got there around 4. And I'd I'd come in after work and close it down. So we had to get rid of a problem one night. He's a big old boy. I said, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this guy. He's like a monster. And I had to look up at him. I said, oh, this is going to be a handful. And I said, the only way I know to deal with this guy and get him out of this bar, it was closing time. These two guys was trying to pick a fight with him, and he wasn't going to back down. So I went around him and jumped his back and got him in a chokehold, and I had him choked out from behind. And my feet was off the ground maybe a foot. I'm talking about a big old boy. And that's the only way I could get him under control. I put him in a chokehold, and he went face down in the floor, and me on his back. It was halfway out of the building, halfway in. And I look up, I hear feet coming at me. I look up, and it was Dale, the owner. He had a billy stick in his hand, and I looked up at him. He just walked away. He knew I had it took care of. He was fixing to pop somebody in the head, and it was going to be me until he found out who it was. But I choked this guy out, and he had his fist warded up. He acted like he was going to hit me and stuff. I said, "No, this ain't going to happen." And he finally released him fist and relaxed, and I'd ease off of the chokehold. And I tried to talk to him. He'd try to talk to me, and I'd choke him out where he couldn't talk. So I kept the pressure on and off on him till finally we sat down and had a beer together. And we had an understanding that night. We all went home in a safe manner. No fights broke out. So this guy I learned later on, his name was Anderson. He had a steel plate in his head. And he'd already been kicked out of the club next door. And he was rowdy that night. What is that? A truck? Roach you bought? Bill got a free plane. That was the best deal I've seen tonight. Let me see what it. Bigfoot monster truck. I heard that. It's a nice looking truck, Roach. Never too windy for a truck. I don't know if I ever get into that. I'd want a nitro if I ever got into big trucks, big scale trucks. I want one that throw gravel 30, 40 feet behind it. Wide open. I watched them sailing doodles. He got a flying channel. He went up in a, a Robson Raven 2 with this blonde headed lady. He went flying with her. It's pretty cool. Good looking helicopter. It is a 4-seater. It's burgundy in color. He's got that airplane channel where he shows different kind of planes people own. They're pretty nice. Heli. Where do you find deals like that, Roach? I don't find nothing like that here in Tennessee. I did buy some used planes down in Columbia, Tennessee one time, but I had to drive like, I don't know, an hour and a half one way or 2 hours, 2.5 hours down there, 2.5 hours back. It was an all-day trip. But I got a radio from that guy, a DX5E, I believe. I bought a Super Cub. I bought a Focke-Wulf 190 park zone from him. He give me some odd and ends, give me some batteries. He kind of set me up when I started RC. And in a way, he kind of ripped me off too. Because that Super Cub, whoever had that plane didn't set it up right. And they had hog rings in the back of it for on the elevator where it broke, and they put hog rings in there to connect it. It just silly stuff. I had to repair on it, but I got it flying. It flies good. And it's got ailerons. The original Hobby Zone Super Cub LP was a 3-channel plane. But mine's been cut with ailerons in it, made it a 4-channel. And I've done a lot of work to it. I made really a little hot rod out of it. I got a 450 motor in it. Got an aluminum motor mount. I bought a custom motor mount and put in it. It's still a bottom feeder plane, which I'm okay with that. You can get some good flights out of it. I think it's a 1200 millimeter plane. I think the Park Zone Focke-Wulf is 1100 millimeter plane. I've still got it. They don't have no swap meets around here. They got one in Nashville, but I ain't heard about it this year. Back when I was in the AMA club up here in Sumner County, they try to go to that swap meet in South Nashville, but I ain't heard anything about them having one this year. Probably done had it. Heard you can find some good deals down there to sell and buy. You can buy a little table, sell your stuff on. I got so much stuff in RC. I won't never use all that stuff. When I first got started, then I stockpiled. Had a mom and pop store down in Florida. I supported them for the longest. I just ordered stuff from them. They were pronto sending it to me out of Florida. And they eventually, after about a year or so, they retired and was going to go out of business. And they liquidated all their inventory. And I bought all kinds of stuff up that I thought I might use in rebuilding planes and whatnot, extra motors, ESCs. I had spare parts at the Yang Yang. I still got a bunch of parts. But all that stuff's fell to the side. I'm not building planes right now. GB flew a Super Cub on his channel. You go watch it. He flew it in the side of the truck one day, and that's funny. But it's the same plane GB had on his channel. I didn't get a box with mine. It's I just bought the plane, brought him home. But he gave me that DX5E just to have something to fly the planes with and give me a few receivers. And it had them 5 dip switches in the front of the panel where you could reverse the servos on it. But it still works. It still will fly planes, but you gotta, every time you fly a different plane, you'll have to bind it in. So you ain't got no memory to store a lot of planes. You can do one at a time, or take the receiver out of one to the next. That ain't no fun. I like to leave my birds alone. Once they get a receiver in it, I try to just buy another one for the next plane. I don't try to steal them. All my birds in there got receivers on them. I bought a lot of lemon receivers back in the day for about 18, 20 bucks. Some with satellites. And I've never had no problem with lemon receivers. Fly them on a Spectrum format. Never had a problem with them. But I don't know how they are now. They're probably selling junk. Not sure. Everything changes. You find something good, they want to change it or discontinue it, make something cheaper. China's bad about making junk. They do something, Wild Bill, gyros in them balsa planes. The shaking of them gas motors messes up the gyros in them or something. And he gets all them servos flickering. I'm not sure the vibration in the gyros. I'm not sure about Spectrum receiver. I'm sure somebody using Spectrum in them. I couldn't tell you. So I don't fly no nitro planes. Not at all. The vibration, if they got a gyro in them, usually will, I don't know, they shake a lot when they're idling, and it kind of messes up the gyros on them. So it's better just use a regular receiver, like Roach saying. I'm pretty sure that they make a gyro for balsa planes with gas motors. I'm sure they do, but I'm not familiar with them. The signal is going to pick up to your radio no matter what. Usually, if you can long range check it, and if it works, it probably will fly. But I've heard that just the gyros in them can be a little funky sometimes in gas. If I regular receiver in, it'd be fine. Not sure. That's past my pay scale, guys. I've been flying these little AR620 receivers, got the built-in antennas. They fly fine. I've got them in several of my planes. I've got some 736s, ARs, the older ones. I've got 2 or 3 of them. They need to be programmed, put in something. I don't know if I ever use them or not. 636s. That's what they are. They are 636s, the older gyro receivers. Captain Bloss can tell you about all that, Wild Bill. About your nitro motors. I got that program on my computer to download programs to those receivers. I don't trust myself yet on doing it, Roach. Especially in a new plane I'm gonna put up. I don't trust my programming. If somebody knew what they was doing and stepped me through everything, the changes, yeah, that's Molly. She got an attitude. I got a box over here right now. It's got like 3 of those AR636s in it. And Spencer on that place on Facebook where they raffle things off. Well, he's getting $7,500 a piece for those things. They went up. There ain't no telling. She's back on the porch now. She's like that all night long. She'll calm down, then she'll see something, go bark at it, come back. What's Heidi doing, Pam? Yeah, that's the way I did it, was pick off the list, but some of my planes ain't on the list. I want to use them now. Like some of the old Park Zone birds, they didn't come with gyros. The only way that I know of, Fred, in these in the E-flight planes, you can only turn safe off and on. I think Dave Marshall knows a way to cut the gyro off on those AS3Xs, but I don't know how to do that. You can program safe on, safe off, and just fly it with gyro, which it'll do fine with just a gyro on the E-flight planes. But I don't know how to turn it off. But there's a way to get into programming of those things and be able to put it on a switch. I heard. I'm not sure how to do it. The NX radios, you can forward program it out. That's cool. I'm running DX6 Gen 3. I'm still flying with it. I'd like to have a NX8. That's what I'd like to have, or a 10. I don't want to put out the kind of money they want for it, though. But I'd take a DX8, DX9. I'd be happy with one of those. It don't have to be an NX radio. If you're going to go with an 8, you might as well go with a 10. Have all the bells and whistles. That'd probably be all the radio you ever need. I'm not ever going to fly a plane that's got 16 channels in it. Right now, every plane I got, I wish sometimes, especially on planes that I got flaps and retracts on, I ain't got enough channels on 6 channels to work everything. But I've got all my planes programmed. There are a few that's not programmed on it. But most of my planes I fly is on my DX6 Gen 3 radio. I probably will never sell that radio. It's been good to me. That's all you need, Fred. Them are Cadillac radios right there you got. My radio sold for $299 new. And this guy had it for sale in Florida. He was going to upgrade. And I bought it from him in the box with a manual, the radio, and a receiver in it for $129. So I thought I did pretty good with that DX6. Roach, you got to have a special program in them radios to fly helicopters, don't you? That's something I don't have in mind. That's something I'd have to figure out trying to fly E-flight helicopter. Unless I buy a helicopter that comes with its own radio, which I've thought about doing that, but I haven't bought one yet. I'd like to have one, play around with. It's all in the way you set it up. That's something I don't understand, how to set up a helicopter. I know how to. I flew them on real flight a little bit, and somehow or another, when I upgraded from 9 to 9.5, I lost the settings on my radio, and they wouldn't fly the helicopters in the new version. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, what I did right on the first setup. There's more to set up a helicopter than there is in a plane. I could imagine. You got to flip a switch so it's able to go up and hover, which that's the problem with my radio. As far as real flight goes, so I'm using a dongle, and I'm using the thnxs to fly with. So I only got like 2 switches that I can activate on my. And if I use the thnxs system radio with it, you'd have all the functions off of it, where I only have 2 functions. And I can get in the calibration setting of the radio and set it up. I'm not sure which to set it up to fly the helicopters. So I just got lucky the first time on Real Flight 9 that I could fly a few of them. Now I'm not able to fly with them. I just fly regular planes with them now. One switch will flip the safe off and on, and the other switch will flip smoke on and off. That's about it. I got some models in Real Flight 9.5, the flaps will be engaged on it, and I don't have a switch to flip them off. It's all weird. Swatch plate and click normal. That's something I had to figure out. I think there's a program that Spectrum you can download and put in the radio to help you set up helis. I'm not sure. I haven't got that involved in them. Roach, you're the only heli man I know. I don't trust myself with them. I won't be 3D'ing it. I'd be 3D'ing it into the ground and buying parts the next week. God, we've been on about an hour and a half. Got 9 people in the house. We're dying breeds. Well, I think helicopter flying would be fun. I don't think I'd want to do it where you're flipping it back and forth real fast like that. I don't see the purpose of that. But in real flight, I could take the rotor, the tail, move it from side to side and run it down and fly straight, and able to turn it around and fly back to me. I could understand how the throws on the sticks work, but I got where I'm pretty decent on real flight until I lost my radio settings. Then I was screwed up. Now none of them will take off. Now no matter what switches I throw on my radio, none of them will take off. And they used to just go up so high and hover. If I push forward, they'd go higher, and right they'd go up or down. It pitched the rotor up and down, and the other one would take it the tail from right to left, so I could spin around the rotor on the other stick. So I had fun with them for a while. And now I can't even fly them until I get the radio straightened out. Drones are fun. I like to watch the videos from them. I like to take one up behind my house and fly over my woods and look into the woods back there. I like to fly around my property. The drones is taking over the world. And that's why they don't want us flying them, because they want to do it all commercially, and the military want to use them to bomb people, drop bombs out of the sky with them. They got them where they can handle a payload now. Wasn't a president down in South America? Somebody tried to assassinate him by dropping bombs from a drone at him. That wasn't that long ago. And the mission failed. The bombs didn't hit the mark. They tried to kill him. That's going to be wicked when they put a live round machine gun on one of them things and it come up to your front door and blast through your door with a drone. That ain't going to be cool. Now, people can use them for the wrong purpose. I think the military is going to use them big time before it's over with. They're going to have these little armies flying around, these little small midget drones flying around, 100 to 1,000 at a time, playing army man. I set up a monitor. I've got the receivers, video receivers, transmitters. I got antennas for my monitor. I just haven't bought no goggles, but I've got a nice setup in here for my Bixler 2. I was going to fly long range with it and never did finish that project. I got tons of money set up in that. Out on the back porch of the house, I can pick up 13 satellites off those antennas on my monitor. So that's pretty cool. Call it a swarm. Yeah, Fred. A swarm of drones. That'd be wicked. See them things coming at you. Yeah, they got these things, the computer operates. They're computer controlled. And they can do them in sync. Yeah, it's kind of wild. You watch some of these military channels and watch what they're doing with drones. It's really wild. They're showing you how to camouflage vehicles and stuff from drones. They're trying to block the shadow of vehicles with camouflage so you don't get spotted from the air. What's this world coming to? What kind of goggles you got, Roach? Mine pings off the back porch or the back deck of the house 10, 11, and the highest I've seen was 13 back there, me testing my video. And I had it set up. What's the name of that program? It's been so long since I've messed with it. Head Play. I ain't heard of that brand. I gotta have something where I can plug in my monitor and get the video out of it. It's like a audio in, audio out plug out of my monitor into the goggles. So I've got these expensive antennas, and you can go to my, I don't know, I've got it on my channel where I'm setting up my FPV, and you can see the kind of setup the antennas I'm using. "12 satellites, that's good for you." I'm using that one that's three different wattage from low, medium to high, wide open. Those things get so hot. Those video transmitters, they get so hot. I mean, they heat up. They definitely put heat out. They ought to design those video transmitters some kind of heat sink and get that heat off of. I ain't never heard of Head Play. That's something I've got to look up. I was going to set up a Bixler too, a 59-inch glider to do long range with. I wasn't going to go to 900 megahertz or nothing like that, but just on 5.8. Seven-inch screen. I have to look that up, Roach. There's people that flew Bixlers 13 miles away and hit a button, return home, and it comes back to you. And you see the footage all the way there and all the way back. Pretty fascinating. But who's going to stay under 400 feet? That's going to be hard to do. She was flying that Robson Raven helicopter at 500 feet when I seen a video today. And I said, we're able to fly 400 feet. She's just flying 500 feet in a real helicopter. I said, what's up with that? Don't she know she'll hit a foamy plane out there flying at 500 feet? How can you judge distance from the ground, how high you're flying? There's no way. You can tell how high you are. I can't judge that distance. I try to keep them pretty close in. How long has Head Play been out, Roach? They've been out a while, or they new? I'll have to check it out, Roach. What do you want for them? A Bixler 2 is a good format to fly long range with. It didn't go up there and fly forever. You can control the battery usage out of the battery packs. These guys would make up their own battery pack, slide it in the fuselage, and the way they done them in parallel, and they fly long range with them. 13 miles. You know you can't see planes 13 miles away line of sight. People before the rules changed, they were flying way out there. If it went down, you never would find it. Be on top of somebody's barn, or out in a hayfield somewhere, or in a pig lot. I got a beautiful place to fly down here in this bottom, out here in front of the house and across the field over here. I got permission to fly in this field. And it's beautiful down here. You're flying over creeks and woods and power lines, and you got to fly above the power lines. Let me go see if I can find that video of mine. I don't know, it's an older video. It's been a while since. Let me cut the music off so I don't get no copyright strikes. Let me see if I can find this video that's got my setup for that Bixler 2. It's been a long time since I messed with that. I can give y'all a link where y'all do want to see my setup. Oh, here it is. Let me copy and paste it in the chat for y'all. Here's the video of what I got set up for my Bixler. Is this YouTube right here. Y'all want to check it out. But it's been a long time. I got iNav 2.4 in it, GPS. I bench checked FPV in it, fixed wing. It's got a Meltec L411 in it. It is a flight controller, but I never did finish it. One thing, I need a set of goggles. I never did buy them. And I kind of put all that on the back burner. It's a lot of fun. Y'all can watch that video afterwards. Y'all want to. But at the time when I set this up, I picked out some of the best antennas that were made to man. Some of them were custom made. That's getting out there. And they're triples. And I forget the name of them. They were, they might be in the description. E-Machine 5802 monitor with diversity and DVR in it. I got triple feed patches, 9.6 gain antennas, plus, well, I'll put it in chat for y'all. If it'll fit in there. I had to put it in there 2 different ways to y'all read. I'm running 25 milliwatts, 200 milliwatts, 600 milliwatts on 5/8, triple feed patch, 9.6 gain, and at 5/8 right antennas. And I got left-handed ones too, but I got pairs. If I run rights on the plane, I'm gonna put rights on the monitor, or left on the plane, I'll put left on the monitor. The clarity needs to be the same. But that's kind of the setup I got. I bought the monitor. It's an E-Machine 5802 is the monitor I'm using with dirt. It's got a built-in DVR, and I can play whatever it sees in my headset, which I don't have no goggles yet. I'm just going to repeat it into the goggles so I can see what it's seeing from the antennas. Like running a jumper from one to the other. And if somebody wanted to watch how my plane was flying, they could just look in the monitor and be a bystander and watch the flight from the air. So it's all good. Then they started wanting to ban all this stuff. I kind of went to the back of the workbench. I still got all this stuff. I don't know if I ever finish it or not. I think flying FPVs is be fun. I think it'd be a hoot. So I was gonna run a Run Cam 2 on it. I got a little silver one that I've been. It's 600 milliwatts will put out the power. You can probably fly a long, long ways out with 600 milliwatts on it. You probably interfere with people's crap with that one on. They say if you're not going to fly far away, the 25 milliwatts is fine. But I bought all this hardware up thinking, well, I'm going to set up a Bixler too. And I did. I got a platform that replaces the canopy with a thing that camera sits right there where the canopy sits, and it holds the transmitter right behind it with an antenna. Got its own battery for the video, and you got its own battery for the plane. So I'll be running two batteries for it. So it all works off 7.4 volts, a 2S battery for the video transmitter. So I was going to fly two batteries. If y'all want to check out that video, it's been a while since I set all that up. That was March 1, 2020 when I made that video. So it's been a while. And like I say, I put all that on my back burner. I haven't fooled with it. I did that flight controller. I didn't finish it. I soldered all the pins in it. And that was a nightmare. If you ever try to solder those little bitty pins in place, you're in for you need a fine needle. Mine's not fine. But I finally got all of it soldered. And it works. And it programs your flight data onto the monitor. You can see in that video I posted in there, you can see the readout on the monitor from that flight controller. All the video, everything. Battery voltage, things like that. It's all pretty neat. I just didn't finish it. I'm bad about that. Starting a project, not finishing it. Or I get another project started and I'll drop one. This is a monitor I got at the E-Machine. It's not goggles I've got. It's a monitor that's an E-Machine. It's got a built-in DVR in it. It's set up for two antennas. And the ones I wrote in chat, those are the antennas I'm using. And I picked up 13 satellites with it, the backyard. So it picks up good. As long as you got 13 satellites on there, you can fly the GPS easy. A lot of them people put them crossfire antennas on their radios, and they can fly a long ways with them crossfire. With a 900 megahertz. Some that's real people seriously into flying long range. They're using the best stuff possibly known to man to do it. They're getting out of the 5.8 megahertz. I bought a lot of stuff from RMRC. Like Randy's accent. I got that southern drawl, Pamela. I don't know if I can play some of that video for y'all or not. Probably can. God, I ain't seen this in so long. Maybe I can share some of this and y'all can watch a little bit of it tonight. See if I can get in here and try it. I don't know if I can or not. Share screen. At the end of this, towards the end of the video, I'm going to get you into the INF program and let you see. Here's a little bit of my stuff. Here's the E-Machine, a 7-inch LCD DVR. You have to do a lot of programming. I think it's showing 11 satellites there. I'm just on the back porch of the house. The GPS doesn't work inside the house. This is pretty much a bench check. That's the flight controller with the video hooked up on it. We got the laptop to it. Just got it powered up, and you can see it's already got 10 satellites it sees. That's using 9.5, 2.4. Up to 12, and the highest I've seen was 13. This is just sitting on the deck rail on the back deck of the house, looking into the backyard. But I was able to get 13 satellites from here at home. So the next time I fire it up, it'll lock in my location a whole lot easier. That's using a Run Cam 2 video. It's super nice, but it's really designed for an open RX radio. It's a fixed wing. There's people that use Spectrum, but most people use open radios on this, which I will probably get me one, but as of now, I'm just going to fly it with the on-screen display, the camera, the VTX hooked up, and GPS hooked up. That way I can fly the plane manual. It's showing 12 satellites right there. FPV. What I'll do, the screen that you see now, I'll have a cord plugged in a AV out of the monitor,
into a set of goggles, and I can fly off these antennas off my pagoda and a triple feed patch. I'll see
That's the
this
antennas
signal
I'm using,
into
guys.
my goggles right from the monitor, from the DVR. And I've got an SD card that's plugged into this.
Ain't that a
signal,
mess?
so I can record it.
That's a
So I've
wire
just got
nightmare.
basic stuff on the screen, longitude, and latitude, and longitude. If you lose your plane, you go back to your recording and pretty much see
That
the
little
last
square right
signal,
there, that's the
the
GPS unit.
location. You can find it with your cell phone, this location, and pretty much go find your plane if you lose it. Just way out of sight. It falls out of the sky. I had trouble with INEV when I downloaded the 3 drivers you got to download. And I download all 3 drivers. A lot of them's in zip file. You have to unzip them, put them to a folder.
That was a pain in the butt to get that programmed. I didn't think I'd ever get that flight controller programmed.
So I got a third party, basically a third party.
Took me forever to get that programmed. Now, I messed up my drivers, my USB drivers on my computer, programming that stuff. It just changed everything. And I said, well, I fixed one thing, but I tore up my computer doing it. I mean, you program an INAV, you got to go in there and get a special file to get in there to even get that to work, even open it up in the program. I mean, INAV, they really got some software issues, but I'm pretty sure they probably figured it out by now. But that's my setup, guys, as far as first person view. And I still got all my equipment, but I never did buy my goggles. And I wanted to buy me a Radio Master so I could really set in and program that OpenTX, that flight controller, because that's really what you need for that flight controller is an OpenTX, like a Roadmaster, Radio Master. But take care, Wild Bill. Yeah, learning all that, Pam, it's a lot to learn. I'll be honest with you. And it's all Greek until you get into it and try to work your way through it and read a lot, try to understand what you need to do. A lot of soldering and wiring and programming. Planes don't fly by themselves. A lot of stuff goes into it. It's a lot of fun if you got the time to enjoy it. Now, I'm a computer geek. I'm as an electronic technician several years of my life. I love working with electronics. So it's second nature to me to work with burglar alarms, fire alarms, anything you got relays and contacts and air handlers, you name it, I programmed it. I worked in security for 5 years as a commercial installer. So working with electronics, fooling with that, programming planes is like second nature to me. As long as I had a manual, I could understand it. But it's all good. Folks, I'm going to call it a show here soon. It's been on a little bit over 2 hours. Hopefully Kenny will come back on this week. Kenny, if you're listening, we want you to come back live stream. Kenny O Vision. It's good to have y'all in here on Sunday night. I appreciate everybody. And I guess we'll say our farewells and say our good nights. And peace out of here. Peace. Much love.